our phones, but if you're constantly being told to put yours down yet can't seem to, addictive patterns may have set in. There are other signs of phone addiction, like feeling anxious if your phone battery dies or you lose service, using your phone up until the very last minute before you go to bed, and checking it the minute you wake up. Mental health is ignored when a phone is used for security and validation. Here are a few ways to break unhealthy habits. Remove sound notifications and put time limits on phone use. Set aside 15 minutes every couple of hours to check your phone. Put it out of arm's reach thereafter. Replace your phone with a new hobby. Engage physically with loved ones and your passions. Addictions often start with voids, so talk to someone about your feelings of avoidance. And if additional support is necessary, seek professional help.
For questions or more resources, text 258-1029.
It's 8:51 Friday morning on KSJE, and it's now time to check in with Wally D from Wally D Sports to talk about prep sports this week. Good morning, Wally D.
Good morning. How you doing, Scott?
I am well. Good to have you back to get us set for the weekend and talk about prep sports. And there's been some changes on the polls, I know, from last week when you were here, right?
Slightly, just a little bit. One team kind of dropped drastically, and they didn't play at all, but they kind of dropped down, and that was Kirtland Central.
On the 4A polls that we're showing everybody, so now they're ranked number 8. Last week they were where, 5
they
or
were
6?
At 5, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And they moved up to the 5 spot after they beat Grants, and it's kind of, the polls stay usually pretty consistent. This is, over the years, and this is the first time I've seen just such a drastic change.
Right.
It probably should have been more like maybe they fell to 6 and Grant's behind them at 7, and then the rest of the way down. But which makes it tougher for the Kirtland Central Broncos because they're going to have to win tonight. They play Moriarty tonight, and they've got to win that game. And you can see Moriarty's down there. They're probably ranked 12th, something like that. Well, I'm sure that's what it is.
They got 3 votes.
Yeah, 3 votes.
That's what that means last week. So they're this week. So that's where they are. Bloomfield now number 2 in the 4A poll.
Yeah, and Bloomfield's been there in the 4A polls at number 2.
Aztec at 4.
Aztec at 4, and this is, and Aztec and Bloomfield are actually on a bye this week, so they won't play. But that won't affect them. They've got too good of a record, for that to affect them. And of course, Aztec beating St. Pius and Bloomfield undefeated, so they're pretty much set. What's crazy is next week the districts start.
Yeah. Between
Aztec, Bloomfield, Kirtland, and I believe Gallup is in that mix too, which they're down in the bottom. So it's going to come down to Kirtland Central, Aztec, and Bloomfield.
Okay.
And it's going to be tough when each of them play each other coming up here in the next 2 or 3 weeks.
Those will be some good games to go to, it sounds like.
Definitely.
Right?
Definitely so.
Very nice. And then over on 5A, we've still got PV and Farmington. They're kind of neck and neck, 5 and 6.
They are.
Ranking, right?
And that'll probably, they start districts next week too. Tonight's games are kind of the pre to the district start, which district is where it's really important. You win your district, you're in the tournament for sure.
Right.
You still want to make a good showing. Farmington and PV will stay in that area. I have a feeling whoever wins the district will end up getting a 4 spot. Because you got your Roswell, Goddard, and Artesia are all in the same district, and
they're not going anywhere.
Well, what's going to happen is one of those teams is going to lose 2 games in district, and so that's why
they'll drop down.
Yeah, that's why PV and Farmington, one of them will get the 4th spot when it comes down to the playoffs.
Okay.
Piedra Vista plays the number 1 team tonight.
Okay.
At home, and it's going to be a tough go for them.
So they're playing Roswell.
They're playing Roswell.
Okay. Well, that's a long bus trip for Roswell.
Yeah, it is. PV went down there last year, held their own. I think the final was 28-14. And if PV can do that tonight and make a good showing, then people go, hey, we got a good chance because they are the state defending champs too.
Right. So okay, that could be a good game too. And if Farmington is out of town, they are playing in Bayfield, right? It's Bayfield's homecoming tonight.
It's Bayfield's homecoming. That's where I'm going tonight.
Okay.
And the Wolverines kind of put it to the Scorpions last year at home, and they haven't played a lot over the years in the history of football. I think like in the 1940s, Farmington beat them 60-0 or something, and then Bayfield went to 8-man football or something like that, and not until the 70s, and they came back with the 11-man football. And so I think this is only the second or third time since then that Farmington has played them.
Okay.
And so, but Farmington should do well tonight. They've got a great team. They've got a great record, and Bayfield is kind of a way younger team, and so they're rebuilding because they had a really good team last year.
Right.
And so Farmington should do okay.
Okay. Very good. Anything else we should keep an eye on? The smaller schools on the polls. I know Newcomb is
number 9.
Number 9 on 2A, right? And we have nobody on the 3A poll. Crown Point got a few votes, but they're not in the top 10.
Yeah, they're not. Other games that are happening, Navajo Prep travels to Escalante.
Okay.
And I don't see Navajo Prep coming away with a win there. Escalante is usually a pretty good team. Shiprock at Wingate. Wingate's homecoming.
Okay.
And they ain't going to win their homecoming game. So
okay, all right.
Unfortunately, and and I guess I think that covers everybody.
Right.
Again, Kirtland Central Moriarty. Check out WallyDSports.com. We'll be broadcasting all the games, Farmington, PV, and Kirtland Central tonight. And so be sure and check out WallyDSports.com, and that'll tell you where you can go listen to the game.
Okay.
And you can listen to it on the internet, too.
There are several radio partners that you are working with, I know, and then but you've got them on the internet, too, right, if folks are out of the area.
Right. So. And, of course, you say the radio partners. It's the company that I work for.
Well, yeah, right.
The AGM Sports Radio Network is what it is now.
Exactly. And so, but they will put them on the different stations that they have, right?
Right,
so people can listen on the radio.
Right. They can listen on the radio. And
Wally D Sports is where to find out what station is carrying what game.
Exactly.
There you go.
Exactly.
Perfect. Well, Wally, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
You bet. Always appreciate it. A busy guy, right?
Always. It's a nonstop.
I don't know how you can do it all, but you do, and you make time for us, too. So thanks for that. That's Wally D, everyone, from Wally D Sports, my guest here on KSJE. And before we go, one more check at the weather forecast. We'll take a look at Point Pleasant, West Virginia, in honor of our guest earlier this morning, the great storyteller Bill Lepp, who lives in West Virginia. But right now it is 62 degrees in Point Pleasant, and it's going to be a high of 81 there today with a low of 48. Here in Farmington, it's a different story. I just can't say anything else about that, but it's a very different forecast. Today's high 56. We'll have sunshine. 22 and partly cloudy skies overnight tonight, then a bit warmer tomorrow with a high of 66 on Saturday, 70 for Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, but overnight lows again, 33 on Sunday night, 30 on Monday night, 33 on Tuesday night. That hard freeze warning again in effect in our area until Saturday morning. So another cold night tonight here in Farmington in San Juan County. Have a great weekend, everybody. I'm Scott Micklin. I'll be back with you Monday morning beginning at 8 a.m. right here on KSJE.
After being nominated